Listen up, Philadelphia. The ground is shaking beneath the NovaCare complex right now, and I am not talking about a simple tremor. We are talking about a seismic shift that could redefine the entire identity of the Eagles franchise. It is not just about one bad game or one bad call anymore. We are looking at the potential dismantling of the core that brought us to the brink of glory. From the head coach's headset to the star receiver's locker, nobody is safe. Sources are buzzing, the pressure is boiling over, and decisions made in the next few weeks will haunt or help this organization for a decade. Buckle up. We begin with a situation that has escalated from a simmer to a full-blown inferno regarding the leadership of this football team. Sources indicate that the scrutiny surrounding head coach Nick Sirianni has reached a critical breaking point. A prominent NFL analyst has delivered an absolutely scathing evaluation of Sirianni's tenure and his future prospects in Philadelphia, and the details are damning. This is not just fan speculation. This is an institutional examination of whether he is fit to lead. The report highlights a severe disconnect between the talent on the roster and the product on the field, pointing directly to a failure in the CEO-coach philosophy that Sirianni has tried to employ. When you strip away play-calling duties and rely on culture, and the culture starts to crack, what exactly do you have left? That is the question echoing through the halls of the front office right now. Let me be very clear about something, because this needs to be understood. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot have a roster loaded with this much premium talent and look this disjointed. It is absolutely unacceptable. We are talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a team that was in the Super Bowl just a short time ago, and now we are hearing analysts question the very competency of the man in charge? It is an embarrassment. The evaluation suggests that the internal pressure is mounting because the results are simply not matching the investment. Jeffrey Lurie is not a man who pays for mediocrity. He pays for championships. And when an analyst comes out and says the pressure is putting his future in check, that is code for fix it now or pack your bags. From an insider perspective, the concern is the lack of adaptability. The league has adjusted to what the Eagles do, and the counterpunch from the coaching staff has been non-existent. The report emphasizes that Sirianni's sideline demeanor, which was once seen as passionate, is now being viewed as a liability when things go south. You want to talk about accountability? It starts at the top. If you are the head coach, you take the heat. But right now, it looks like the kitchen is getting too hot, and the organization is wondering if they have the right chef. This evaluation is a wake-up call. It is a siren blaring in the middle of the night. The scrutiny is real, the evaluation is harsh, and quite frankly, it is deserved. You don't get to waste the prime years of these players without answering for it. The clock is ticking louder than it ever has before for Nick Sirianni, and if he thinks this is just outside noise, he is sadly mistaken. This is the reality of the NFL. Produce or perish. And right now, the production is not justifying the retention.
If you want to stay ahead of the curve with real insider updates that the mainstream media is afraid to touch, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. Join our community and never miss a breaking update. If the coaching uncertainty wasn't enough to make you sweat, let's shift gears to the roster, because Howie Roseman is reportedly working the phones in a way that raises massive red flags about the current state of the receiver room. We are hearing legitimate noise linking the Philadelphia Eagles to a wide receiver from the Green Bay Packers, a player carrying a valuation and contract situation hovering around the $15 million mark. Now, why on earth would the Eagles be aggressive in the receiver market when they already have a dominant duo? That is the $15 million question. This move is being discussed amidst growing uncertainty surrounding A.J. Brown's long-term status in Philadelphia. You do not go shopping for a luxury car when you already have a Ferrari in the garage, unless you are worried that Ferrari is about to be towed away. Let's look at the strategy here. The Packers have a deep room of young, talented pass catchers. For the Eagles to be sniffing around a $15 million asset in Green Bay, it signals that the front office is preparing for a contingency plan. This is classic Howie Roseman, always trying to be 2 steps ahead. But sometimes being 2 steps ahead means you are anticipating a disaster that nobody else sees coming yet. Is this insurance, or is this a replacement? The mere fact that we are discussing a trade link of this magnitude suggests that the conversations behind closed doors regarding A.J. Brown are far more volatile than the team is letting on publicly. You do not allocate $15 million in cap space to a third option. You just don't do it in this economy. This is a tactical alert. Bringing in a receiver from Green Bay would inject youth and likely speed into the offense, but it also disrupts the hierarchy. It screams instability. If you bring in a guy on a $15 million tier, you are telling the locker room that changes are coming. And let me tell you, the chemistry of a football team is fragile. You start messing with the receiver room, you start messing with the quarterback's comfort zone.
Jalen Hurts has built a rapport with his guys. If you drop a new element into that mix while clouds are hanging over your number one guy, you are playing with fire. The report linking the Eagles to this Packers receiver is specific, it is financial, and it is alarming. It tells me that the organization is not confident in the status quo. They are looking for a safety net, and in the NFL, when you look for a safety net, it usually means you expect to fall. This potential acquisition is not just a roster move, it is a signal flare that the situation with A.J. Brown might be more precarious than any of us realized.
Now we arrive at the story that should send chills down the spine of every single Eagles fan watching this right now. We have moved past simple rumors and are now looking at a tangible trade proposal that has gained traction in league circles. This scenario involves the Philadelphia Eagles sending superstar wide receiver A.J. Brown to another franchise. In return, they would receive a talented wide receiver who is a former first-round draft pick. Let that sink in for a second. We are talking about shipping out arguably the most physically dominant receiver in the game today for a talented former first-rounder. This proposal is gaining steam because it addresses the salary cap flexibility and resets the clock at the position. But at what cost? Are you kidding me? Are we seriously entertaining this? This is absolute blasphemy. You do not trade A.J. Brown. You do not trade a man who can take a 5-yard slant and turn it into a 70-yard touchdown with 3 defenders hanging off his back. I don't care about a former first-round pick. I care about production. I care about dominance. I care about the fact that Jalen Hurts needs his alpha dog on the outside. This proposal suggests that the Eagles might be willing to cash out on Brown now to avoid future cap hell. But this is the kind of move that gets general managers fired if it goes wrong. Remember when Tennessee traded him to us? How did that work out for them? Their GM lost his job, and now we are thinking about making the same mistake? From a strategic standpoint, this trade proposal is about asset management versus winning now. The Eagles would be betting that the incoming player, likely younger and cheaper, can replicate 80% of Brown's production while saving the team millions. But football is not played on a spreadsheet. It is played on emotion, and A.J. Brown is the emotional heartbeat of that offense. If you remove him, you rip the soul out of the passing attack. The tension here is palpable. If this trade proposal turns into reality, it signifies a complete philosophical pivot for the Eagles. It means they are closing the current window to try and pry open a longer, more sustainable one. But in the NFL, sustainable is a myth. Winning is all that matters. This trade idea is dangerous, it is bold, and quite frankly, it is terrifying. The domino effect of losing Brown would force every single player on that offense to change their role. It puts massive pressure on Devontae Smith. It puts massive pressure on Jalen Hurts. This is the story that defines the offseason. If A.J. Brown is moved for a first-rounder, burn the ships because there is no turning back from that level of gamble.
This is the moment of truth for the Philadelphia Eagles. You cannot have this much smoke without a fire burning somewhere in that front office. From the head coach's job security to the potential exit of your best offensive weapon, everything is on the table. Are we watching the end of an era before it truly began? I need to hear from you right now in the comments. Do you trust Sirianni to fix this, or is it time to clean house? And would you dare trade A.J. Brown for fresh blood? Let your voice be heard, because this franchise is at a crossroads. We are in this together, Philly. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and fly, Eagles, fly.